when people start to read the New Testament as historians, they often feel obliged to show how clever they're being as historians by, as it were, taking a razor blade and saying, oh, now we can see that there's something going on here and there's something going on there. And often what happens is that people like to pull together two different stories and say, really, this was just one incident, but it's told in two different ways, like the feeding of the 5,000, the feeding of the 4,000. They say, maybe there was only one thing and it's just come out differently. Well, you'd have thought that, Mark might have noticed that. I mean, was he just being stupid to say it two different ways? The answer might be yes, but maybe we're just being too clever. And then you get the same thing happening when you get one account, like the story of the resurrection, and then scholars saying, well, really, these are quite independent traditions. There's an appearance tradition, there's a women tradition, there's an empty tomb tradition, there's a Peter tradition, and these are all quite separate, and we can see that they come from different parts in the early church, and that the evangelists have cleverly pulled it together. So it's really, as we say in England, heads I win, tails you lose, toss the coin. We are so clever that if there's two incidents, we'll say there were one, and if there's one incident, we'll say it was half a dozen. And I don't think that proves anything more than, as with all ancient history, we really don't know enough to be able to nail this thing down one thing after another. And after all, even in modern history, nobody still quite knows who killed JFK. I mean, there's a debate about it, and there's lots of things that happen in our own day, massively documented, and we're still not sure what happened. With ancient history, all we've got is the New Testament for Jesus' life, Josephus, who's about that long on the shelf, a few other sources here and there, that's it. You can read all the New Testament sources in a few days, and that's not really very much to go on. But as anyone will tell you who is involved with the media or with the law, the fact that you've got three slightly different accounts of something doesn't mean that nothing happened. It merely means that the eyewitnesses were so excited that they, if they saw a road accident, they forgot that it was a blue car and they thought it was a red car, or vice versa. That doesn't mean there wasn't an accident. It merely means that the judge or the jury has to sift quite carefully to make sure we've really figured out what happens. So it is with the resurrection narratives. We'll ever be quite sure which women went which way and met Jesus where, but that some women went to the tomb and that at least one of them met the risen Jesus that morning, I have no doubt whatsoever.